ask from the holy races, from Heimdall's sons both high and low. Thou wilt our father, the dweller, relate old tales I remember of days long ago. I remember yet the giants of York who gave me bread in the days gone by. 9 worlds I knew, that 9 in the tree, with mighty roots beneath the mould.
All right, welcome everyone. We're in session 4 of Wild Beyond the Witchlight, and we haven't heard it for a bit, but I just threw in Volushba, a Viking Edda, to kick us off. Recorded at home, not by me. But before we go any further, I wanted to introduce and welcome Rebecca, first session in.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll get to your character in a moment. And also Todd.
Hey guys.
Hi, welcome. And Todd, you played in a short series we had not too long ago, an Astral adventure. That was the Astral
Correct,
one, I think.
yes.
Yep.
That was fun.
So you're familiar with the sort of layout and so on, but we are back to fairly low level adventuring. There's no none of that sort of what were you, level 13 or so at that stage? But
I think it was 16. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've had Arias, so the player of Arias had to bow out of the campaign. So we've been bolstered, luckily, with both of you joining us. So thank you. And I will, rather than have you introduce your characters and like a more formal type of thing, we'll do it in game, which makes it just that little bit more fun for me, at least. But first, I think it's worth me just setting the scene, just recapping a bit. It's been a fortnight, so for both of you, you might be familiar from our chats leading up to now where we're up to. The group of adventurers and a small group, 4 characters, have made their way to the Feywild and are searching for a ruler of a domain, and also for lost things that have been somehow stolen or lost, that they're somehow missing. Sometimes it's a specific thing, a teddy or whatever. Sometimes it's memories or something a bit more esoteric. And so this group at least has been drawn together and drawn into this world. Now, the problem is, what you might think of the Feywild is some sort of magical, sparkly place like Pandora or whatnot. You found yourselves in this fetid miasma of a swamp. Visibility is limited to somewhere between 30 to 60 feet due to the dense fog. You've been walking through various depths of water, rising from anywhere between nothing and mud and 10 feet deep. We've had to take refuge in mangroves and things. And you've found your way to where you think the ruler of this domain is, but there were these brigands, rabbit folk, who are running amok through this place and have pretty much dominated any travel, at least to visit the ruler. And you ran afoul of them, ran into them in the swamps, the sort of bayou type things. There's jetties and pontoons and things all over the place, and they seem to make best use of that, hopping about and listening out for where characters are. You're all sort of we're going quite well, actually. You managed to fight some of them off and drop a couple unconscious into the water, but the leader is some sort of monster in battle. Is somehow enchanted with speed and can do these huge jumps, and has this branding iron which, when he hit you, it turned him invisible to the person he hit. So he kept whacking you, and it does not insignificant damage too. It is a red hot branding iron. And with the last of you succumbing to this branding iron, you then found yourselves in a cell somewhere deep in the swamps and realised after managing to bust out that you were in the Soggy Court, which is a bullywug kingdom, and which are frog folk, and you this is also the seat of power for Bavlorna Brightstraw, who is the hag who supposedly rules this domain, and someone you're interested in discussing recent events. The Harengon appear to have deposited you here. Now, I think it's worth... that's I think we're the three of you. Ungo, Mavis, and... who have we got here? Yeah, Ungo and Mavis.
Right.
Yep. Phryne's with you. And you've scouted out. You've managed to recover your stuff, I believe. And you found a bit of a bullywug palace and ransacked that and fought a giant crocodile. Found your way to where the king seems to be holding court in a little gazebo with some bullywug knights. Didn't really explore that in depth. I think you're a bit worried about getting caught or discovered, and you ended up deciding to retreat back to a friend of yours, and where some of your companions are still seem unconscious and you're unable to revive them. So with that, I'll jump to our new heroes, and let's see. I'm just trying to envisage like what it might look like from above. Imagine a crow or something like that as a camera or a mind's eye, flying, cawing, and looking down and seeing these two or three figures creeping through the mist. A goblin, a human, and a half elf. And as they creep towards this stockade, domed cell, the camera pans down and goes through this misty archway into there's no fog, of course, inside the cell, and it moves around and we rest our gaze on an unconscious character, one that we know from prior sessions as Celeste, a silverer or moon elf who still remains unconscious, and crouched over her protectively is a frog folk warrior of some sort. He's holding a rusty longsword. Looks very badly cared for. He's not really wearing any armour to speak of, but otherwise has soiled, muddy, aristocratic clothes. So big puffy pantaloons, those bulgy ones like Henry VIII might wear, and a flouncy silk shirt. Not something that you would be accustomed to see in a swamp. And he looks across, and Eleanor, you're also in this room, and you've recently arrived here, and we see you. Can you just and your arms are outstretched, and a spell has just gone off on your fingers. Some sort of attacking or damaging spell, maybe a cantrip. What might that have been? I'm not that familiar with your damaging spells, if anything.
Sword burst, ray of frost, firebolt.
Cool. Okay, so maybe a firebolt or something. So maybe there's this trail of sulphur leading from your hands, and you look along the line of where you've just shot this firebolt, and you can hear this. And you look across and you see a rabbit folk. Not one of the rabbit folk who accosted you, but someone you've been travelling with recently. Harever, the noises are not coming from this rabbit folk friend of yours, but from a Harengon that he has wrapped his arm around the throat and is slowly trying to choke this character out, and their eyes slowly blink out, and he starts to relax. Slutney, what would you look like to to Eleanor as she looks upon you in your battle with this captor of yours until recently.
Yeah. So he's about 5'6". Himself a rabbit man. He's got white fur, but it's discoloured in lots of places from previous encounters with mud and grass, and something orange in one spot that has obviously been washed but left its mark there. It looks very soft fur and well looked after. He's wearing a well-worn and often repaired leather armour and boots, and he has a couple of short swords hanging lazily at his belt. Well, he's got one of them out at the moment by the sound of it. He's also got a staff on his back, which is actually an unstrung longbow. And yeah, he's got a bit of a kind of jittery look to himself, like he's always wanting to move and not wanting to stay still.
Right. Manic or just, OCD?
Just impatient.
Right.
Just impatient.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Fidgety.
And as you finally realise that this figure in your arm has gone slack, you can obviously ease that off and turn that and make that non-lethal damage. But what helped you to do that, what distracted this character and brought them so badly damaged, is this blast of fire which has caught them in the chest, made them spin around and given you the opportunity to launch across the room. You look back at where this firebolt come from and you see your travelling companion, Eleanor. Sorry, I keep looking to the side until I get all the names all down. Eleanor, can you describe how you would look to Slatney as he looks across at you?
You look at Eleanor with her arms outstretched, casting a fireball, smoke smouldering from her fingers. You'd see a rather pallid, frail-looking young woman. Not too young, probably within the range of 30 to 40, but not too old either. She has long, tangled, grimy hair. It looks like what used to be a luscious gold, which now seems to be dulling with age and becoming a more greyish, metalled with different shades of grey. She has very pale skin, wrinkles starting to form along her laughter lines. She has blue eyes, slightly dulled, slightly grey, and across one eye she has a scar, a burn scar, and a white iris from where that seems to have been damaged. She's wearing what looks like could have once been a fine silken robe, but in days long past, but is now a former shell of itself, just rags, tattered, bits of dried blood. And on her back, she just carries a large backpack packed to the brim with scrolls and papers and books and strange trinkets attached to the sides of it that offer no explanation from sight.
Okay.
She looks angry as well.
So you've seen better times. You've clearly spent as much time as the others, traipsing through this fey domain of hither. And it's at this point that you hear footsteps coming, and you see a figure stick their head into the door, and two in fact, a goblin and a human, Mavis and Ungo. If either of you want to say anything, or I'll leave it open to you.
Oh, yeah. So just to be clear,
Yeah, Slatney just prepares and he just says, "Goblin." To Eleanor.
To make it clear,
She's
we
holding
see
out
a
her hands
blood-covered
down.
woman with her hands up and a rabbit holding another unconscious rabbit, right?
You do. So it looks like two Harengon have been fighting, clearly. And there's a human who's also, it's 2-on-1.
Okay.
As soon as you approach, and it looks like you're about to go Burko,
I would like to just say, "Oh shit!" and fire crossbow.
Well, you're shooting me in Morgort's there. Ask him what's happening.
That's what I'm just saying. Morgort's going to yell out because he can see what's about to go down, and he says, "They are friends. They've just accosted one of the Harengon brigands." And you can see that he's also crouched protectively over the comatose Celeste.
So those two, Eleanor and Slapney, they're not in cells. They're like in the area. They're out of the cells.
Looks like they've busted out of the cells, or they've never been in the cells. But you can see that there's manacles on the ground. It looks like maybe they've only just been dropped off.
Okay, because they weren't there when we left earlier, which
No.
was like not even an hour ago, probably.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Where'd you come from?
I could ask you the same thing.
We came from here. Where'd you come from?
We came from here.
We came from here too.
Just
I
won't
don't
come
want to be here anymore.
So Morgort will just say it looks like all of you have been deposited by these. He's got the aristocratic accent, or I'll try and see if I can pull it off. You were all deposited here by the same and accosted by the same group of ruffians.
I say. That won't do, will it?
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I want to get out of here.
Yeah. How's Franny doing? Or not Franny. Celeste.
Celeste. So Morgort says that she'll be. He feels that she'll be okay, and let's go. Phryne, being a cleric, will say, "I will stay with Celeste." Very conveniently. And Sir Morgort. So Morgort says to you all, "Well, how did you go?" And then just quickly explains Eleanor and Slapney. The others have gone off exploring to see if they can find us some way of escaping, possibly a balloon perhaps, and I can pilot it to get out of here. But I will be identified instantly if any of these, if the other bullywugs see me.
We got our weapons.
What was this Harengon wearing that Slapney just chucked out?
He has a club and a sling.
What's he wearing?
Effectively leather armor, and he has a small buckler like a shield. It would function as a shield.
You gonna take his uniform?
Well, I could.
I take the
I
cloak.
kind of look a bit like him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it look like a uniform? Like would? Is
No,
he part of the group?
it doesn't look like he has a uniform, but he does have a blue armband just tied on, Ultimate Warrior style, just around his bicep. And
did we see anyone else with those armbands, like in the group that attacked us or around the camp?
Yes, both Ungo, you and the crew, and as well and Eleanor and Slapney, all the people that when you encountered the rabbit folk that accosted you. Now that you think of it, all had this blue band on their left arm, and it's the same colour as what seems to be this enchanted scarf that their leader has around his neck. 15-foot long thing that seems sort of almost animated.
And all the brigands, they were just dressed differently and randomly, not wearing any sort of particular style of clothing or.
No, they're all.
I guess what Slapney just wants to know whether it's worth slipping into this other rabbit's armor to maintain some sort of ruse.
It's all a bit of a hodgepodge of stuff. You know, they are, highwaymen, robbers. But they did generally have two roles. There were ones that are a bit more sneaky that generally were then armed with a bow and take the role of a sniper of some description. And the others were just general thugs.
All right, Slapney will just grab that blue ribbon and tie it on and say, "This might help."
Okay.
Okay. Mav is going to say, still holding up the crossbow, but just lowering it a little bit down. He's going to say, now that you're done playing dress up, do you mind telling us which way did you come here from?
I don't know. We
We were
woke
brought
up
here by bad guys.
What the bloody hell is this place?
Yeah, so I actually wanted to ask Morgort a little bit more about where we are.
Okay. Well, you're in the Soggy Court.
Soggy court.
Yeah, I'll put it in the
Yeah,
chat for you.
you're saying that as if it's supposed to mean anything to
Sounds
us.
delightful.
The Soggy
So-
Court. The Soggy Court is the seat of power of the Bullywug King.
Uh-huh.
Um,
So given that Ungo we have a map and Ungo has it memorized, maybe we could have a quick discussion with him on where we are on this map.
yeah. I'll switch you. Oh, do you have a map in your chat? That might be in the handouts.
Maybe. I don't think so. I think it was just a map you were putting us on.
Okay, I can switch us across to that map if you like, and then let's have a look.
I mean, I guess we can figure out you are somewhere along the big tree trunk with all the jetties and tiny islands around. So
So are we in this? Where the heck are we?
I would guess around here.
Okay, so if we pan out, let's see, and I shift ping to draw your attention to the Brigand's Tollway. Now, for the rest of you, you appeared on the causeway, and you can follow the red line back, the green and red line back to where you all are. I think the party. Can you see? Can all of you see this map?
Yeah.
Yep.
Even the Eleanor and Slutney both should see, because I've created a token called the party and granted you all access to see and edit it. So Slutney and Eleanor both found themselves got their way going through this Brigand's Tollway, and so have you guys, the rest of you. And you can see on beyond there's a place called Downfall.
Yeah, that's where we were trying to go.
And Downfall, Sir Milgwat says, Downfall is another name for the Soggy Court. Downfall is probably more the location, and the Soggy Court is like saying the seat of the king, or, you know.
Okay.
So we were trying to find, was it Lorna? I think.
Bav Lorna, yeah. Slack-jawed Lorna.
Yeah.
So let's ask if anybody knows anything about her, like Morgward or our two new friends.
Yeah,
Lorna.
before we get on with the chit chat, I think we should scrum. The guards I sent away a few minutes ago, they might be coming back anytime soon.
Yeah, but scram where? We need to know where we're going.
Somewhere a bit more private, maybe. Find a.
Well, this is pretty proper here.
No.
No one's here at the moment, so we can just hold here and keep an ear out.
Yeah, so we fought,
Slap-
and
slap
then
is
you
up to
guys showed
you.
up, so
I'll move us back.
I would like to take the club from the guard, by the way.
okay.
But he had a club. I don't have a physical weapon.
Oh, and your things also are in a sack nearby, so you
Just a
can
sack.
you can recover all of your stuff. Eleanor and Slatney, you basically managed to accost the guard who was processing you. You know, you'd been dropped off, and then others walked off and sort of left him to it, and you managed to break free somehow.
Okay.
And so they hadn't even managed to deposit your gear in the place wherever that might be.
Tie him up and put him in the cell with Celeste and Phryne,
Okay.
so they can keep an eye on him.
All right. So Celeste and Phryne. Celeste is going to go. Phryne's going to go in there with Celeste to try and tend to her. She's quite badly injured. Not mortally, but it'll take some time. So Morgwart's going to do the same thing and go back to his cell where he's, they think they've been. And these other two bullywugs don't know what to do with them. Oh no, that's, sorry, they're not, I've used bullywugs, but it's a Harengon and there's just the one.
and I guess Mavis will try to check up on Orias.
Arias is, you haven't seen him since you've arrived, so you don't know whether he wasn't brought here or
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you say he's not gonna make it.
yes, yeah. So you the last you saw
We're gonna
of, yeah,
slightly
last you saw of him, he had arrows sticking out of his chest in the Brigand's Tollway.
Okay.
Oh, so he's not with us. Okay.
All retcon, he was never in the cell.
He was never in the
Like a little-
cell. Yeah, let's just.
Bummer. I prepared like poem for his funeral and everything.
Okay.
Okay, maybe later we can find him.
Okay. And Eleanor and Slatney, if you just check so that you can move your figures around, you could go and join Mavis and Ungo outdoors. You just click on your token and use your arrow keys or drag it around.
Am I meant to be seeing something?
Right up in the
Just see
top right
that.
corner.
Oh,
If you zoom out,
jeez.
go to top right. Yeah.
How do I actually get to just parakeets?
If I
Use
shift
the
ping,
right-
All the way in again.
Yep,
The
I can
right
move.
All the way in
you can
again.
drag.
I can see Slatney
Okay,
hopping
yeah.
about maniacally.
Yep, he's good.
All right.
That's it.
If you want to
Do
head
I
out,
have 20?
if you want to head
I'll
outside,
probably
Slatney.
add my HP 14. Is that my
Yeah,
HP?
so
the
Matt is
green
going to
thing?
suggest.
Hang on. So Eleanor, what is your maximum hit points?
14.
14. Okay, I think what I just chucked 20 in there as a placeholder. So if you click on your character, I've just changed it to 14 max and 14 current, and made it hit points based. Is your passive perception 11?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So that's what I did for the name there too, so I can see what your passive perception is. So you should be able to move that around, that token around yourself.
I can.
Oh, cool. All right. So if you want to make your way out, then your vision should you should go out and be able to have a look around.
Okay. I see.
Okay. And for Slatney and Eleanor, you find yourselves looking around a foggy landscape. It's no longer in the swamp. You're on a raised area, but it's still muddy ground, and there's a walkway of planks. It's just make that travel a little bit easier, and it looks like you're right outside some sort of fighting pit or fighting area. There's 2 chains and loads of weapons and armour just discarded around the place.
Okay.
So you two, I guess you can tag along if you want to. But whatever you do, don't go west. There's a bunch of these amphibians having a party.
Oh, goodness.
Okay.
And if you pan out,
You guys are looking for someone called... Go on, sorry.
Oh, sorry. And if you pan out, for the 2 of you, you should see at least some of the map. It'll be partly greyed out, but it'll show where the others have already been, where they're talking about west. But Sutney, what were you saying?
So just out of these guys, you're looking for someone called Slackjaw Lauder? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Wait, who? I forget which thing she stole. Whose stuff she has.
She has your shadow and
You have my
I think
shadow?
something of Fryney's.
Your shadow?
Yeah. You.
Wow.
We didn't get a chance to describe our characters, but if you spend any time looking at Ungo, you would probably notice he has no shadow.
I'm
Wow.
curious. Eleanor's just going to sort of walk behind him and try to cast shadows on the ground behind him. How
The light
interesting.
seems to just go right through him, even though you can see him.
How did that come about? How does one steal someone's shadow?
I don't know. She's a shadow thief. She takes shadows, but we're gonna find her. I'm gonna get it
Eleanor's going
back.
to take a small
May-
pocketbook out of her.
Maybe I'll have time to ask her.
And she's here somewhere at the Soggy Court.
I don't know. That's what we need to find out. Because if she is, the king's over there, and he points to the west.
Mm.
No.
I was
How
just
are we gonna
curiously
find out if
taking
she's
notes.
Okay.
Interesting.
Now, Phryne would tell you that she is certain that something that she lost, and she can't quite remember what that is, but it's here, nearby.
Maybe it was your memories. Maybe that's why you can't remember.
Yep.
It's a theory.
Speaking of which, if I recall correctly, the brigands in this world are not interested really in coin, but rather memories or other things.
They tried to take
So-
your memories. That's right.
So I'm
So,
rather well
is there a way of-
travelled.
Oh, go
I was just
ahead.
wondering if I could make a history check to know if I know anything about this slap-jawed Lorna, or if I've heard anything in passing.
Sure, you can roll a history. You've been here a little while.
How do I do that? Oh. No.
Okay, so you've got
Probably not.
a 13. All that you would know from your travels recently in this area is that she's reported to be a hag, and one of a number of hags. She's got a number of sisters.
What do I know about hags?
That they are powerful fae.
Okay. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
What have
So-
you done to get on the wrong side of a hag?
Some of the most powerful that you can.
All we did was go to a carnival.
Carnival.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder if we should I wonder if that Harengon would know anything about where she might be.
The unconscious one?
Yeah. Or do we find someone else that maybe we can question?
Yeah, so I
Someone
wanted to
that
ask Sir Morgwort if he's heard of her or knows if she's around.
Yes, she rules this domain, and he looks around.
Oh, rules. Okay.
But I
Not,
guess
not the king?
no, the kings
Oh.
all owe fealty to her.
Mm-hmm.
They might be king of the soggy court, but not of this realm.
I've never heard of a hag being the queen of anything.
The king could
Are they-
probably make introductions, arrange it.
Are they friendly? Does the king like Lorna?
Probably fear is more the.
Here. Hey, Mavis,
And,
you think he'll help us?
He's not been king long. We go through a lot of kings.
And if we walked out there, you say the king could introduce us to her, maybe. If we go out there and talk to the king, are they just going to try and capture us, or do we think that they may?
Yeah,
let us
that's what I was
parley?
just thinking. Maybe we could talk him into something. I'm not the talker though. We got two good talkers here, and they're not Ungo.
I'm not much of a talker.
I mean, it never hurts to talk, but we did kill some of his men.
Do they know that yet?
Yes. Who did that? Wasn't us. That was the alligator.
Is there any evidence? Yeah, get him in the swamp if there is any evidence.
They're not far away. Just to
really?
the south. If I'll draw your attention to it. So, I think let's see. Over in this area here, at the entrance to this palace, for what it would, I don't know if it passes for a palace anywhere else. You snuck past a crocodile after tricking two of the guards to walk away. But coming around the other side, there was a big fight, I think, between two guards and a crocodile, and you killed all three. And I think they were then pushed down into this sort of swampy area.
Yeah, we threw him in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. And what was going on with the king when you saw him? What was he doing?
He was listening to a harp, I believe.
They were just kind of chilling.
Yeah, it sounds like a party. Though,
Well, were there lots of them there where the king is?
I think so. Ungo had a closer look, right?
I didn't write down how many. The king and some courtiers. It didn't look. I didn't see any guards really. It was just like some nobles.
More than a handful of
I mean-
knights.
Or there's some
Okay,
knights.
so
in
they're
there.
guards. So
Yeah, I
fighting
remember
is probably
them
going on.
describing like a breastplate and all that.
So I think like right now our options are to go over there and try to talk with them, or just try and escape the island and see what happens next.
So
Why not both? We could,
this place,
yeah.
So I was just saying the soggy court. Can we ask Mogwart? Do people just come here? Like maybe we could sneak away and then just come here.
Oh yes, the
Visitors.
bullywugs are not a martial folk. They're not really aggressive. They're more concerned about protocol, graces and airs, being appropriately attired, you probably would get accosted pretty quickly for wearing the wrong clothes to have audience with the king, but they may not even realise that you are prisoners yet if the Harengon are the ones that dropped you off.
Why would they have brought us here, do you think? What use would the bullywugs have with us as prisoners?
Do you see this bunch of weapons over there? Like
Sorry?
you point on here.
It's like entertainment.
Oh, okay.
It looks like people have been fighting to the death to the south, in front of the palace.
Well, I'm certainly not dressed to see a king. Did you see any clothes around anywhere? What's your name?
Let's go to the side.
It's Ungo, is it? Did I hear someone call you Ungo?
Yeah, I'm on.
Yeah. Did you see anywhere where... Well, I'm Slapney. You can call me Slap.
Slap. Okay.
Well, maybe we need to get something to wear to go see the king.
Well, there's probably clothes over in that palace where we found the equipment.
Yeah, there would have been gear. Would have been plenty of stuff like that.
I mean, all that sounds like a plan, but we have wounded, missing, and I, for one, am exhausted.
Okay.
I don't think we're in a fighting condition in case anything goes wrong.
Come back.
Yeah, that would be my suggestion.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. I say we go east.
And what do you want to go? You hide somewhere in the swamp?
Well, we have no idea what's over there. Let's go find out.
Yeah.
Because you're
going to sort of
actually
and just cast prestidigitation on herself and clean herself up.
Clean up, your magical shower.
Don't you look nice? Look at us.
Goodness me.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is Slapney and Eleanor, you two weren't unconscious when you were brought here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate by showing where you first appeared, and then that'll give you a bit of a pathway, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
So if I draw your attention down to this bottom corner,
right,
and I start to move you along. So you were in a boat and you were being transported downriver, and you would have been able to see all of this. You would have passed a group of bullywugs boating, singing, playing banjos.
Pleasant.
And then brought to a dock. Whoops, what have I just done? Oh.
And then we were expanded.
Yes, so it seems.
Torturous.
Oh. Now that's a bit better. Not that it really matters, but okay. And then you were sort of tied and brought along a pathway. I don't know if the rest of you can probably see this, but they could probably describe it.
Nope.
I see one circle where you ping.
What you would see is the exploration mode. Sure.
Yeah, I see only this first step over here, and then it's darkness.
Okay. What about down here?
Nope, just dark.
Okay. So Slapney and Eleanor, you would have passed by. It's at the limits of your vision, but there's a stake in the ground. Can you see that there?
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. And from that, there's a rope tied, and it goes angled up into the sky. Curious.
Okay.
And then we move.
If we could we have looked up the rope and followed it up to see what's up there as we went past?
Well, you couldn't. I think if you can't see it now from where you are, you can't see the end of the rope. Just it goes up into the mist.
Morgort did mention we were hoping to find a balloon, though.
Mm.
Ah.
And they carried you across some boulders. And I don't know if you're able to see this.
Yep.
Ah, I've done it again. It's okay. And then past some buildings. They're all, round buildings. And then across a bridge, a rickety wooden walkway, where there was all these bullywug heads, and they all called out and chatted to you. Who are they? What are they doing? As you went past. And it was then that you were brought in an arc around where you could hear harp music, banjo music. It's not easy being green. And then into this will bring you back to where you were.
Oh, we have clones. Goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that gives you a bit of an idea of so you two have been privy to a bit of a layout of where the entrance was, or at least the way that you guys got in here.
Yeah. So getting in via boat is pretty much, if we want to get out of here, it sounds like we're going to have to get a boat. Is that how you guys got here, or you guys don't know?
There was a bit of interruption in the stream of consciousness.
They were unconscious.
Oh,
yeah, that's right.
No way out.
Mogwart says that balloon would be the best way.
But once we get in the balloon and get out of here, that's us out of here, isn't it, right?
That's true, yeah. Then
is that the...
Yeah.
So then coming back might not
an
be...
audience with this slack-jawed Lorna.
Well, yeah, with the king to try
Audience.
and... Ali.
The audience is a one word for it, I guess.
And perhaps it's wise to wait before taking transport out.
What sort of rest are you hoping for?
I mean, a good night's sleep would not do us fine, I think.
I don't think that likely.
Ungo, did you want to go and take a squiz east? Was it east? I forget now. Or was that Slapney?
I think you're muted.
David, you're muted.
Sorry, the cat was making a bunch of noise earlier.
Oh,
I did notice there was a bridge over there, but I don't know where it goes, so I was just suggesting to check that out.
Well,
But if they relayed that
I'm pretty stealthy
information
as well.
in, then the way out's over there. So
The way out's over that way, yeah, but do we want to get out now? Because once we're out, and that's our chance to see the king probably gone.
I think Mogwart's suggestion was more to use the balloon as a escape means once you've achieved whatever it is that you're wanting to do here.
I wonder if we could wait for the king to maybe not have so many guards around, and we could get a sword to his neck and make him answer. Or is that more dangerous? Is that more dangerous than the ruse? Sorry, what was that?
Couldn't you just ask him nicely? Say, hello, I'd like to have a chat. Maybe a bit persuasive.
maybe you can
Slapney
ask.
just shrugs.
That's not how I do.
Well, I think
Well, I think there's merit to
no,
being
I mean-
diplomatic.
I think there is, but we're gonna dress the part if we're gonna do that.
I think Mavis and Ungo both discovered quite a bit of very elaborate clothing in this opulent couple of chambers to the south.
Well,
Maybe we could sneak.
So I mean, we discussed that a little bit, but I think Mavis has a great point that it would be good to get a long rest at this point because we're basically fresh out of a fight where we got all knocked unconscious.
Yeah.
All the spell slots got used up. Like
All the hit die,
Gotcha.
spell slots, everything's gone, so...
I'm pretty awake.
Is there a danger in taking a long rest though?
Not if we find a place. Not right here. Not in the cell.
I don't know because yeah.
All right, let me just sneak over to the other side of this building and take a quick look at that bridge. All right.
If you're concerned, I can sneak because I'm pretty good at sneaking too, and
we're equally good at sneaking.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you injured though, or are you hurt, or?
I'm okay. I'm a fighter. Like I just second wind and I'm fine.
They've also taken a short rest, I believe, so had an opportunity to spend hit die and heal. So I think everyone should be pretty good health-wise. It's just they've expended a lot of resources. That's the main thing. Gotcha. Okay, so let's see. Slapney and Ungo. Which way going? North or south around this thing?
Oh, I don't know. Might as well go north.
And Mavis and Eleanor, do you want to follow them at the limits of your vision? 30 feet away or so? Keep them in sight, or are you...
I think Mavis will follow Ango, like 10, 20 feet behind.
I don't have any plans for the foreseeable future, so why not?
All right. So there is a very narrow area, a way to scooch past around the cell.
Hold up. I see somebody.
I'm just breathing in very tight so I can squeeze through.
I think I see somebody on the bridge there.
Where?
There.
You can. You can, in fact. At the limit of your vision, I believe.
I don't see anything.
And you can see a bit of crackling of lightning in the distance as well. In fact, I think that I can...
That's not for you, Cat.
Whoops. I've got a handout to show you. I'll get there.
Didn't mean to click that. I was just looking through my spells.
That one could be handy.
I was just reading through them. I realised they only selected 2 spells and not 3 as well, so...
Here we go. Now, of course, there's not gas around here so that you can see it. What you see is a small jetty. There's a little, what looks like a sort of shop or hut of some sort with a long window, with a bench. And strapped to it, or it seems to be strapped to a harness around a thunderhead, big storm cloud with lightning, and there's a few of these huge ropes seem to tying it down.
Ungo leans over to Slapney quietly. Is that the cable you saw?
No.
No?
He'll just whisper no in wonder, looking at it.
It's about the same thickness, about the same angle, but it is not the same location.
Oh, Christ.
I wonder if it flies.
Does something.
Okay, do we see any people or any kind of guards or anything?
You do. You see two characters. They've got cloaks and hoods, hard to see their faces. You can tell from the shape of them that they're not bullywugs. And you can tell from the shape that they're not Harengon either, though that's quite distinctive.
Okay. Go back. Go back.
Okay.
Tell Mavis and Eleanor what we saw. and then suggest that they approach those guys in hoods and see what's going on over there.
And in hoods. We.
Interesting strategy. Send you weakest people ahead. Okay.
We'll cover you.
The diplomats, I think, he's after.
Yeah. Go be nice. Go be nice.
Where you saw the place where there was all the fancy clothes.
Yes.
Was there any guards over that way?
Oh yeah,
we killed some.
They were.
There were guards.
Some
They're
of them
not
are dead.
And
the two, the first two, I told that the king asked them back to the party so they can have a drink. So they might be back by now. Kind of disgruntled, possibly.
They would recognize us as those liars.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean that might be a form of transportation over there, or it might be a shop. I don't know what's going on over there.
But
they
we're
don't
still
look
not
like
getting what we want.
So there's no reason to think there are enemies.
But they're here. They must be here at the behest of.
You know what? We're wasting. At this point, I don't really care. We've been wasting so much time. Ango, just so you know, if I die, I will hunt you for the rest of your life.
If you die, I will avenge you.
Well, I mean, if we're thinking we're going to get into a fight, why don't we try and talk first? So I think we should go and get some clothes on, see if we can get a chat with the king and get the information we want, and if it all turns bad, slap.
Yeah, it sounds like a plan, but first I think securing our means of escape takes the priority. Just in case.
Eleanor, did you want to go over there with Mavis? He's going to head around to do this chat that the others have requested.
I want to get hidden with my bow ready to attack if something goes bad.
Okay. But Eleanor.
First.
Yep.
I'm just going to. Seems to be thinking, sort of coming up with something in her head, and she's like, right, just a second. And then she's going to touch herself on the shoulder and cast Disguise Self on herself and zhuzh herself up a little bit, so it now looks like she's a bit more regal looking, wearing noble looking robes, a couple of big signet rings and gilded bits on her. Just, goodness, it's been a while.
Still human,
and,
though?
Oh yeah, still human.
Okay. So
she makes prestidigitations herself, makes herself look a bit more fey, a little bit more mystical and magical as well, rather than just a plain old human.
Yeah, Mavis will just look at it completely unimpressed and like, are you done? Can we go?
Oh, you're a charm, aren't you?
Yeah. So Eleanor, you look all the part of a visiting dignitary.
And I'm going to take from my bag my old rusty signet ring, prestidigitation it, and slide it on my finger. And all right, let's go then.
Okay.
And she'll straighten her back up a bit, and it goes from the terrible posture she was previously carrying. Well, off we go then.
You'll make your way along the rickety jetty. Well, I say rickety, and it looks, but it looks strong enough. It's not fancy by any means, but functional.
Can Slapney go with them as well, just behind them?
Yeah, sure.
Because he's just looking like a Harengon with a blue ribbon on at the moment.
And Ungo, you're the sniper in the shadows. Yes.
I'm hiding in the shadows. They might wonder why there's a goblin there. I'll just.
Okay.
I'll cover him.
All right. And so you see two figures. They look sort of like elves. They're quite short, only about 3 to 4 feet tall. They've got a sort of greyish purple skin, and they look like they for all intents and purposes, there's all stuff behind them, hanging and on display. And they look like shopkeepers. And they says, "Oh, what do you want? Do you want to buy something?"
Good afternoon. Yes, we're just wondering if we could peruse your wares for a moment.
Okay. Then they look at each other. Can you roll an insight for me? I'll let Mavis and Eleanor both. How'd you go?
Natural 20.
Natural 20. Okay. All right. It is clear to you that these two are absolutely faking being shopkeepers. They don't go through. They don't even think to offer you particular things or ask you if there's anything that you're after. The way that they ask you, your insight is they're asking you and going through the motions. They are absolutely not interested in selling you anything. Not that they won't, but that doesn't seem to be the reason that they're here.
It's a front.
And when they exchange glances, oh shit, customers, what do we do? And they've gone, oh, what would you like to buy with your money? And yeah, you see right through it.
She's going to raise an eyebrow.
This thing that's tied down, does it look like it's tied down like permanently, or it's tied down temporarily?
Temporarily, like a ship might be attached. Sorry, Eleanor.
Curious business you've got here.
Yes, it's how we
large.
It's how we get around.
Okay. How long have you been in business?
You do have
We've only been here less than a day. My boss is meeting with the other boss.
Who's your boss?
Very well. Do you have a less than a day permit for anchoring here?
Our boss is Charm.
Oh.
A what?
Charm.
A charm?
They give you a name, Charm.
Well,
Okay.
does your boss Charm have the permit on him then?
They look at you quizzically, like, what the hell is this guy talking about?
The permit, piece of parchment signed by the king himself, allowing you lots use the jetty.
Oh, I don't know anything about that. You'd have to talk to Lorna or Charm.
Well, sounds like you two have to come with us. We need to intern you until this matter is sorted.
We are but humble shopkeepers. Can I interest
Yes,
Where
and
can
you'll
we
be
find this
humble
Lorna?
shop.
You say
You'll
we
be
should take it
humble
up with Lorna?
shopkeepers in our care. So what?
I just said they said we should take it up with Lorna. Where can we
So, are you
take it up
familiar
with
with
Lorna?
Lorna?
She would be that way, and they point. And if I ping, I'm going to shift ping you. If you scroll out, that's the direction that they're pointing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's over closer towards the exit, so maybe that might be a direction to go.
All
What
right.
exactly are you selling?
So glad you asked. We were just going to offer
She's
you
giving them a very
We were just going to.
obviously. She doesn't believe them. It's very obvious on her face.
Right.
Sort of a patronizing, condescending tone. Like, what exactly are you selling?
Let's see.
Sounds like they're selling bullshit.
It's only a very limited offer, but and you can see there's a sign above the booth where they are that says "Wondrous Wares." Trinket and Bauble is the. Oh yes. Allow me to introduce my companion Bauble, and this is Trinket, and we have wares. And they sort of start.
What kind of wares?
One of them rummages around and says, we have, let's see, a very good thimble. There's no fingertip, unfortunately, but that was lost in time. We've got a mug of bumble beer, which we can trade for a trinket. And we've got a decorated duskmallow pie. And he pulls out this pie and shows you. And see, it's been marked here, and not perfectly circular, specially made in this unique shape. And the unique shape is it's had 2 bites out of it.
My goodness, is that a perishable in this stand? This buffet itself is that it's 3, 4, no, 6 health code violation. You two are coming with us immediately. He will point at Slap and say, I know, Mr. Fluffybutt, could you please escort our guests to their new accommodations?
Slap will pause for a minute and they go, yeah, and start walking towards them. Are they standing right at where the rope is tied?
No, the ropes go off, 30, 40 feet off out.
How many are? Oh, there's like about 3 or 4 ropes.
Yeah,
4 ropes. Okay.
Yeah. They don't. Can you roll a deception, Mavis?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
11.
One of them looks quizzically at you, like what is this guy on? And the other one just sort of ignores it and says, if you don't like it, you don't have to buy it. If you've got a problem, go and see Charm. And it looks like he'd be quite keen to hear how you go. He says, oh, hang on a sec, there's 3 more things. I'm pretty sure here. A bundle of dry wood. Great for starting fires.
Huh. That's true.
No? Dry wood's hard to come by in this place.
Eleanor would like to sort of lean down towards them, a little bit close, and say in a bit more of a gentle tone, listen, darling, you know you're bullshitting. Tell us why you're really here.
Well,
In a gentle, kind-sounding tone.
Can you try
persuasion?
Yeah, can you try persuasion? And with your, I'll give you an advantage for that, just with your other efforts, with the disguise and the prior insight. What?
Wow.
What? Okay. All right.
Look at
Okay. Okay. So one of them sort of looks to the other one and then says, "Well, yes, we are selling things, and you may buy anything that we have, but I think we're here probably more importantly for our master, our mistress, to meet with Bavlorna in her cottage."
What is she here for? What is she meeting her for?
They say, I guess she's looking to trade or find things that she wants. And you can tell that they're being a little bit deceptive about that, trying to not... They're beating about the bush.
Come on, spit it out.
And
Let's not be shy here.
And it's at that point that they seem to hit their wall of what their fear of you versus or their master.
Okay. Interesting.
I think we're done here, guys. Let's head off in that direction and go see Lorna like these guys suggested.
Mm. Is there anything we might be able to say to curry favour with your master if she's currently meeting with Lorna to appear friendly?
I'm not sure.
Can Ungo hear this conversation from where he is?
Where are you? Let's have a look. Yeah, you would hear the conversation.
He really wants to just shoot these guys. Like he's so close.
He says she likes tea.
Do you have any tea?
Well, no.
Buy some tea.
But...
Well, you're
Tea.
helpful, aren't you?
But they say both of them are over in Lorna's cottage in the middle of the court, in the middle of Downfall.
Brilliant.
That's fine. You can make
Been
some
very
things.
helpful, thank you. And she sort of pats them both on the shoulder gently.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so are we done with the chit chat? Are you coming along or not?
I would say leave them here. I don't think they seem very useful.
Madam, I don't think you understand. This is my job on the line as well. I'm responsible for whatever is going on here.
I
These
think
two,
we can
we are
let it slide.
violating the code.
I think we can let it slide once for our friends here. They'll remember that we've done them such a good turn in the future.
Very well. You two, what are your names? So I have this permanent record of you visiting here.
They-
Bobble and Trinket.
Bauble and Trinket.
Bobble and Trinket. Okay.
It's in the chat. Typed it in.
Yeah. And their boss's name was Charm. Okay.
Charm.
Yeah. That's in the chat too, I believe. Yeah. If you have anything to pay for any of these things, so did you want to buy anything?
Oh God, no! I have no money.
Oh, we don't take
They don't trade money.
we don't take money. We take color from eyes.
Colour from eyes.
She sort of leans in and shows one very dull grey eye and another totally white and says, I don't think I have much to offer you, dears.
Well, we can make them both white. They would turn white when we take the color, of course. Might.
Thank
I
you,
think
Nope.
Then they would match.
no.
but I think not.
Bobble says.
I think at this point. Yeah. Go ahead.
Bobble says, "Well, Trinket buys, trades for eye color. He likes to use them to decorate marbles that he then sells in other realms. I take rhythm. If anyone has any rhythm to trade."
Yeah, Mavis is just his demeanor is gonna shift drastically, and he'll very seriously look Eleanor in the eye and say, "Do not accept any deals in here."
I wasn't planning on it.
Good.
How
You
strange.
always end up paying more than you wanted
He
to.
said you wouldn't really want to. Waltzing is overrated, isn't it?
Darling, I'm not going to trade my eye colour or my ability to rhythm for a pie with 2 bites out of it. You'll need to do better than that next
we have
time.
a monocle.
Just as a tip.
What about a moonlight monocle? We have one of those. No more fumbling in the dark.
Just as a tip. Just as a
Okay.
tip.
Okay, all right. They seem to give up on that and say, well, if you change your mind or next time we're in, we'll try and bring something different.
I will seek you out if I ever return. And she turns and walks away.
Okay. So you...
And as she's out of eyesight,
will be
drops
writing
her
you two up.
posture again. Oh, I hate that.
Okay, so let's meet back up over by the cell.
Yeah,
I guess?
you can talk in privacy now. You're back around.
I have a question. So they say they're working for someone called Charm, but wasn't it Lorna's man who stole
Yes.
things from
And Charm and Lorna are talking.
the rest of
together.
you? So then they must possess similar qualities to this Lorna person, as they're able to also take attributes from people.
You know what they say about assuming.
They said they take eye color and rhythm.
Yes, and then Lorna
Yeah, that's
was
those
able
guys.
to take shadow and, so
You fair.
seems
I wonder-
pretty...
Fungo wants to go check with
Looks to be.
Spidey if her or Celeste happen to be missing rhythm or eye color.
Well, not these specific men, but they seem to fall under the same umbrella of, able to take things from people that are not usually takeable.
Regarding Navis's previous experience... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Phryne has not been able to feel pain. They've taken one of her senses since childhood. She lost it in the carnival on the prime material plane where most of you grew up. And Celeste doesn't know what she lost, but she feels a great sense of loss, something, almost a part of her missing.
Okay.
So, question I want to ask. So, Mavis, having had some experience here in the Feywild and how the deals work, would she be able to tell that the deal can include absolutely anything as long as two parties agree?
Yes. The deals, the currency of the Feywild is really usually nothing to do with treasure. A wand might be good for the spells it might do or how cool it looks. But gold and jewels and things is not really of any value. In fact, the general currency is trinkets, curiosities, and you might have a few of those that you've found around the place.
But it involves like a verbal agreement, even kind of unwilling one. But not like nobody can steal stuff from you, I think.
No, there is one of the rules is the rule of ownership. But that seems to have been broken or subverted on this domain because of the bandits.
Okay.
And if you do steal something, it means you've broken the law, but not necessarily that you can't.
Got it.
I have an idea. If this charm, their boss, is meeting with Lorna presently, then we simply show up and say, "Oh, Trinket and Bauble have said that they sent us to you to say they desperately need help. Some strange things are happening, or, come up with something. I'm not the most, best planner." And then Charm scurries off to deal with her minions, and we have the floor with Lorna. And also seem to have some sort of connection with this Charm woman.
So get Charm away from Lorna so we can chat to her, sort of thing, or?
Yes, but also would breed more of a sense of association between ourselves and Charm, and might put Lorna at ease a little bit.
Sure.
Rather than just walking in as strangers.
Yeah. We have another plan, so it sounds pretty good.
I think first thing that should be done, we need some eyes on the situation, and there we can come up with a plan.
Maybe bring her some tea, say, "Oh, they also sent you this tea." You
can just make tea with prestidigitation, like.
I can flavor tea. I guess if we find some leaves,
I can some water. You can make it seem like
flavored.
tea.
Yeah, you can make water. You can make water taste like tea. You can't make.
And we warm.
It won't be tea.
Yeah.
So, I'd say tea leaves might be better. We can just give her a box of dry leaves that smells like tea. Make it smell like tea. She won't know. She's not going to be pausing to brew a cup of tea in the middle of here, I assume. It'll be long gone before she becomes aware that it isn't actually tea.
Now, where are you having this chat? Are you back with the others, or
Yeah.
Okay.
We're back
Yeah,
in
probably.
the center, aren't we?
There you go.
Yeah. Just a thought.
I think we just try it and go for it.
Plus, this only lasts for an hour, so
Yeah.
Okay.
Go do it now.
we'll be a little suspicious if I suddenly turn into a grubby little hermit.
Just happy to throw those guys in the water and see what's in their balloon. Well, okay, sure.
That's how
can.
we allowed to get in the water. Yeah.
Talk
I
to
really
Tormund
did
about
want
it.
to look in the balloon.
Yeah, I like that.
But I felt like I was half a mind to charm my way inside and just have a look. It's very interesting.
You don't need to charm him, Ungo says, holding up his bow.
Slabby had half a mind to chop those ropes and watch what happens when it floats off into the sky.
Yeah,
That could
don't do
be
that.
a great thing on.
Now,
Elena takes out her little notebook and just scribbling
It
down.
seems safer, honestly.
Allow me to remind you, fellows, that this thing, whatever it is, currently is our only means of escape in case everything goes really bad.
Well, there's
And I would have hoped
potentially
to
another balloon
not have.
elsewhere.
There's another balloon on the way in. That wasn't the balloon that we get out on, the one we just saw. That's a different
Maybe, but
balloon.
so far this is the only one we know where it is, and that it is not.
No, we saw
Card.
one on the way in.
Where at least.
Oh, we saw the ropes. It could have been anything.
Ah, well. You're
We could
right.
have just tied some ropes up for fun. Laugh.
They could have.
now you
I
guys,
honestly
are you guys
like
taking a
safer.
short rest or anything here, or just discussing where to next?
I don't think doesn't even
Just
need a
quick
short
chat,
rest.
I think.
Okay.
It honestly seems safer to just like try to fight these two guys than to wander in the middle of the court and try to bullshit Lorna.
Why do we need to fight them?
We don't need. I'm just like
For?
looking like a risk assessment.
Yeah.
But what purpose
What
does
To
killing them
get the
have?
balloon and leave.
But we want to see Lorna before we leave. Otherwise, you're never going to get your shadow back.
I was thinking we'd come back after we're more prepared.
You want to come back here?
Yeah, we're not in control of the situation right now.
Okay. At this point,
No.
while you're discussing this, and over the course of the last events of the last 20 minutes or so,
Yep.
you've got to the stage where everyone goes up to level 3. Now,
Okay.
Oh,
with that, you've not had a long rest or anything, so you don't have an opportunity to change or select or learn. You can, you go to level 3, so you are aware and able to cast, whatever new spells you get. But if you, like a wizard, has to prepare them, and some classes need to prepare and select from spells that they can cast. You haven't had the opportunity to change those around or add new ones. You will, if you gain new spell slots, you will gain those. But again, you haven't rested, so you haven't recovered the ones that you've cast. But any new ones that you gain, of course, are not expended at this point. If that makes sense.
yeah, sure.
Your total hit points, your maximum goes up, but your current hit points, some of you might be wounded, does not. If you're at full, that's a distinction, and you're not injured, then your current hit points will go up as well as your maximum.
Okay.
Okay, so do that.
And we've just gone 1 hour in. If people need a bit of time, do you want to take a coffee break now, a little bit earlier, so that people can go and...
Yes,
Sure.
change the character sheet.
Yeah, sounds good. It's, level 3, you need to choose sub-process all that.
Yeah, okay. But just bear in mind that some of the things that just come automatically, that you'll have those, but other things that take a... It's after a long rest you get to change things around or select things. You can't select a new spell to prepare it. It probably only matters for wizards and clerics. I'm not too sure about...
Yeah. I don't have to prepare spells.
Okay.
I mean, on level up, I acquire a new spell, but it's not like wizard learning just given as a bard spell.
I see. Yeah. And you probably get a level 2 spell slot as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what I'll do is I will we'll just take 10 minutes or so and meet back. It's 9:30 now my time, and so we'll just meet back in 10 minutes. 9:40.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. And that'll give everyone
I
a chance to do their business.
I get proficiency in survival and thieves tools. I don't have any thieves tools. I'll have to find some.
Okay.
And then I get
I don't know if that calls for a roll, but could we roll to see how coups in the past, in the history of the world, would happen if the people who remain in power are actually like in favor or against whoever like perpetrated the coup?
What?
I mean, so historically, if the frogs are in power, it's because they made a deal with whoever took over, right? So I know that because I learned history, but I don't know how our characters would interpret that.
Well, who did Lorna take over from? Do we know that?
What's her name?
Zabelna.
Zabelna.
Okay.
Well, nobody has proficiency in history. I'll just say that.
Yep.
No.
Okay, never mind.
Well, why don't we just go up and watch what's going on with this king for a little bit, as if we're just idle passers
Okay.
by.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
Eleanor, you get close enough that you can see some figures off in the distance, and
Stand behind Maeve.
through the mist you can hear a harp playing, a banjo, and you can hear a bit of chatter as well. There's a bit of banter going on. No one seems to be particularly concerned about security, but there are knights on guard, but they are sort of rocking their head to the music, and they're not just guards, they seem to be more as if they're courtiers as well. But they are armoured. They are armoured.
A question about the music. Is it some really complicated stuff or just some simple, background music?
Simple background music. It's like you're listening to lounge music.
Okay. So Mavis will take out his flute and try to kind of play something in the same key, just trying filling the gaps in the harp playing and kind of build a melody on top of that.
Okay. Can you roll a performance?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, okay. So you get your lute out and you start to jam with the and play some sort of counterpoint or whatever, something that is going to be appealing is what you're going for, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if you've seen the movie Mozart. There's this scene where he plays Salieri's tune and just keeps making it better as he plays along.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you get a simple tune and you turn it into a complex arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to?
And as I play, I'll walk in.
Did you watch all of that movie? Okay. Right. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay. The rest of you see Mavis sort of. It's like he's strolling in there into the crowd playing music, and these heads turn. But they are quite impressed.
Right, I guess we'll saunter on up afterwards then.
Since they all seem quite distracted, I think if I can, I want to creep around the sort of counterclockwise around the outside and just scout the perimeter.
Okay. You can.
My goal is to not be seen while doing this.
You can do a slow skirt of the whole thing. I'm just going to show you a handout because you can see the kings quite clearly. Let's see.
Aww.
You can see a frog with a crown of a giant flower of some sort, and there's courtiers all surrounding him. He's got a crocodile pet, much like the one that you just distracted, with a frill and bells.
He looks pissed, that crocodile.
Yeah.
He's not happy.
He's been eating
dressed up.
He's been eating swamp mushrooms or something. Something's been going on. And let me get up where we are up to.
Oh. While scouting, I see what appears to be bullywug heads on pike.
Ah, yes.
See, it's not weird to have a bullywug head around.
Totally normal.
Okay. And
wedding robe.
someone comes to you and he says, and he seems really put out. And he says, I am the herald of the court. I see you are appropriately dressed, but I need to announce you and your titles. How may I introduce you to the king and the court?
Slapney will just jump up on one of the benches and say, with his fists on his hips, and just say, "I am the pot dodger," and look up into the sky.
Okay. So you find yourselves in a grand marble gazebo on top of a soggy earth. The white stone is streaked with green with algae. The support pillars have sunk into the muck unevenly, so that this whole gazebo is actually canted a little bit to one side. Nothing that would, make you sort of slip over or slide or whatever. The flabby bullywug wearing a crown of lily flowers regards you, and he sort of nods. He seems to you can tell that he's nodding to Mavis's music initially. And he has a leather-bound book across his lap, and he's mouthing words as he reads. As you can see, he's going through it. And the courtier that addressed you before says, "So, I introduce to the court and to King Gullop the 19th, the Slapney Sir Pot Dodger and his merry band." It seems like he's just completely winging it. And the king...
The nobles sit in the background, arms folded.
King Gullop slaps the book shut, and he looks up at you and says, "Have you no herald of your own?" And a couple of others all nod to you, nod to each other as if this unseemly breach of courtly etiquette.
Goodness, Ungo. She just sort of looks, just pipes up and looks at Ungo. "Goodness, Ungo, are you not doing your job?" Once again, slacking off.
Ungo is hiding away.
But Ungo is only 10 feet away from Eleanor, so she sort of looks over her shoulder.
Exactly. "Oh, you're slacking off again, Ungo. Come on. Announcers, will you?"
Ungo looks shocked and sort of walks up on the stage.
And who...
Yes! Sorry, lady. Eleanor?
My apologies, Your Grace, for the absolute disrespect of my companions here. My courtier, Ungo, will be happy to announce us himself.
And then he nods and looks to you, Ungo, as if...
This is the great bard, Mavis.
Wait. Yeah, Mavis is just gonna play like some mad solo, pass by you, just look in the eye, you got this, and give you bardic inspiration.
Oh,
so you get to...
You've already met the heroic Pot Dodger, and this is the beautiful and elegant Lady Eleanor of
Pleasure
Elysium.
to meet your acquaintance. She
I'm
holds
nobody.
out
he says, "Well,
Very good.
He seems to appreciate the and he listens intently, and he says, "What brings you here?"
Well, we're just passing through, having a look at the new culture. We heard of a recent change in regime, and we're very looking forward to making our acquaintance with those who are freshly in charge.
Oh, yes. I had to keep things in shape, you see, and people all say, yes, Sir Gullop, yes. You've really kept everything back in order from the dire state we're in for the past few kings. and he looks as
So
if
I've heard.
he looks as if he's been insulted that he's only been better than the last few kings.
And many more before that, I'm sure.
Slatney will say, "This is by far the best court I've ever been to."
Don't push it, Slatney.
I'm telling the truth.
Okay. He looks to you and says, "Oh, it's good to see people such fine knowledge. We don't get travellers who know of our culture and embrace it so willingly. It's good to see. Good to see. So very good. And he says, "Shall we have more music and perhaps dancing?" And he sort of looks, and there's no way he's getting up off his chair, but he looks to some others and they say, "Oh yes, sire," and they all start getting ready to do a dance.
Perhaps a quadrille.
Okay.
He smiles and eternally curses.
Okay, and Mavis and Eleanor, he asks you, "Kia, come close. Watch them go. They go like the clappers."
Oh, the clappers, of course, yes.
And he sort of gestures over to his side here. There's a harpist, not marked on the map or anything, but Mavis, he sort of gestures that if you come and sort of not join the band, but come where he can see your magnificent solo axe play.
Yeah, so Mavis is just gonna continue like left hand tapping and just salute and approach.
Okay. And Eleanor, there's a cushion over here that he gestures for you. Ungo, I guess you're up here from introducing, but and
I ran back off the stage immediately.
Oh, okay, all right. Yep. Okay, so you're back outside in the mist. And Slatney, I think you jumped somewhere. Where was that?
He just jumped up on a bench. But is there any frogs dancing?
Yes. So some frogs. What I'm marking here is sort of symbolic that there's now a bit of a throng, and they all start swaying and doing some sort of bullywug style dance.
Can he try and join in with that? See if he can join in with that.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. So you join in and
he'll do that.
Have a crack at it. Can you roll a performance? If you wish to, you can use your dexterity instead of your charisma.
Okay. Yep. Oh, so I'll just add 3 to this, I guess. So 6.
Okay.
6 all up.
All right. So they try to not laugh, but it's like is as if you've gone to some, tribal culture and tried to join in and completely uncoordinated and can't do the dance. But they do appreciate that you've tried regardless.
He'll just laugh.
Isn't he such fun?
Yeah.
Claps. Such fun.
He'll bow and move out of the way.
Mavis, let's see. A bullywug comes past you and passes you a wine goblet and gives you a nod and says, you must need refreshment, no doubt, from all that play."
Yes, thank you very much. You just continue playing with his left hand, pick up the goblets and smell and stuff.
The bullywug goes back to join the mosh pit.
And immediately Mavis is just gonna pour the wine over his shoulder and throw the goblet away.
Okay, you look in the wine goblet and there's no wine in it. There's just a little piece of paper.
Oh. I'll try to stealthily take it and put it in my pocket for later.
It's okay. It's folded in half. All right.
Yeah. So, once the music piece is done, then I'll walk
Okay.
away and read.
All right. So as things go on, and this is a bit of a, this will go on for a little while. There's a couple of dances, a couple of songs. King Gullop turns to you, Eleanor. So what brings you to the Soggy Court? Or...
Oh, well, like I said, following recent regime changes, we're just here to make our acquaintance, I suppose, with those who are now in charge and gather what the general situation is at the moment with regards to trading and safety and so on. So we were perhaps looking for an audience with Queen Lorna herself.
Okay. Oh, yes. I do have Bavlorna's ear. So yes, I could have my knights take you to her. But I would ask one thing though. This book here is hers, and no doubt she's been looking everywhere for it, and I ask that you return it to her. She will be most pleased to find it again.
Oh, of course.
Okay. So this is over the course.
The least we could do.
Mavis, you get a chance to to take a break or whatnot and have a look at this note. Surreptitiously, of course. So you just fold it and sort of, look at it, palm it and have a look. It says, "Find Illig, the Baron of Muckstump at once. The revolution lives."
Okay. While standing somewhere in a corner, I guess Mavis will try to cast a message to contact what was his name? The Polywalk in prison.
Oh yeah,
and ask him about,
yep.
Yeah, ask him about who the Baron of Muckstump is.
Okay, who is the Baron of Muckstump? And he can reply. Is that right?
Yep.
Yep. He's a rival to King Gullop.
Where can I find him then? Just...
Can you roll a D3? Or say D6 will do.
Okay. That'll be 3, I guess.
Okay. Let's have a look. He says he and his cohort. Let's have a look. I'm going to shift ping down this way, down the very bottom of the court. There's another series of dwellings where bullywugs all live, and he and his flunkies generally found down there. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay.
So directly south.
Yes, directly south, pretty much of where you are now.
Okay. So unless there's anything interesting happening on the party, I will try to one by one contact everyone to gather up.
Okay. Now, Ungo, I just wanted to go back to you for a moment.
Yeah.
This is just probably a roll back in time for a moment. Just let's see. Yeah, so you could see a walkway when you did a bit of a scout around, and there was some heads of bullywugs on spikes.
Oh yeah.
And you were close enough to hear them.
They're talking.
They are talking, yes. Let's see. And one of them says, "This is preposterous. He won't last a week." And it seems like they're discussing how long they think that the current king will last. "Do you think he'll head on a spike?" "He won't head. No, he won't end up here. Only the most elite of ex-kings end up here, and queens." You hear from down the line. Yes, it's all. We all. Oh, hello! And one of them calls out to you, Ungo.
Oh.
Goes. He's Malfoy.
And he's
Hi.
okay. You hear him talking, and it's sort of like, "Hello." And he's put his head on a spike, but they've put it on a bit too far, and the spike's poking out through his mouth. So it's sort of. It's like, "Hello, are you a goblin? By any chance?"
More or less.
"Oh, I didn't hear you."
Dead?
And another one says he didn't see you come through. And this is one who's been spiked a little bit more cleanly through the skull.
I'm hard to see.
And he seems to rattle on and on and on. And then eventually he stops and looks at you as if for you to respond.
Huh?
Come again. I think you've got something in your mouth.
And so they're all agree that he's asking you about your opinions of King Gullop.
I haven't met him.
We've heard there's a rumor that another coup is in the works. This is from a neighbour.
Yeah. Oh?
And you can hear this running on the bridge nearby. And you can hear this bang.
Beating the heads?
No, it's something just probably out of your sight a little. And you can hear heads a little bit further down the pathway laughing.
Okay. Take a little peek.
Okay.
What is happening down here?
You go down there and you see a very strange thing. Let me show. I'll show it in. You see what looks like a scarecrow.
Ooh.
But it has giant lobster claws for hands. And it's missing a head. And in its claw, in one claw, is a gourd. And it's walking and it's picking the gourd up and holding it in place. And when it puts its head back on, it goes, oh, phew. And it looks around at you. It says, "Oh, hello." And it looks like it's a little injured. It's got a bit of a burst out of its belly, and there's a bit of straw on the ground. And while it's holding its own head on, the left claw is picking up and stuffing a bit of straw back into its shirt.
The Ungo says, "Well, so you're kings and queens?" To the heads.
Oh yeah, they also yes, sir, and they start rattling off their own titles and
Do you know what happened to Zybilna?
A sept she is, a sept, just like me. Yeah, man, me. And they all chime in. And you get from it that they don't actually know what happened to her or specifically how, just that she's no longer in power and Bevlorna is.
Did I get an impression from that how they feel about that?
it all seems very cavalier about the whole thing, as if it's a big game to them, a game of lily pads.
Okay. Well, at this point, Ungo would probably go back to the group and continue with the scene we saw a minute ago.
Okay. All right. The little fellow seems to follow you.
Oh, the Scarecrow guy?
Yeah.
Okay, well, when I notice he's following me, I'm going to turn to him and be like, hello?
He says, "Hi. Hello, who are you? Can I go with you?"
Maybe. Who are you?
I'm Clapperclaw.
Clapperclaw.
And he goes, "Chick, chick, chick, chick." Chick, 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 chick.
This is gonna start ending up like the Wizard of Oz. We're gonna get like a tin can man next, or a dog.
He says, "I'm Clapperclaw. I've lost my head, but this pumpkin will do for now."
Okay. Well, all right.
I'm missing my brain.
Stay out of sight and be quiet for a minute. We're kind of in the middle of something.
Okay. Let me see. He says, "Sure, I can be real quiet now."
Okay, great.
I doubt that. I just really doubt that.
He's like that guy from Predator.
Oh goodness.
He goes, "Shh."
Perfect. So then all this stuff happens.
Yes. And so when you arrive back and go back to be the Herald and so on, Clapperclaw's just sort of watching from the bottom step.
Perfect.
He goes,
Companion unlock.
he gives you a pat, but he can't reach your back, and so his claw sort of pats the back of your calf. He says, "Good job there."
How tall is he? Is he like
How big
crab
is he?
sized?
No, he's about 1.5 feet.
I mean, I'm like 2.5 feet tall.
Oh, okay. So maybe he does pat you on the back then.
What? That's cute.
No, I'm 3 foot. I'm 3 foot 1 inches.
Yeah. Okay. So he's about 2. So let's say you've got a sidekick.
That's cute.
But back to the if we swing our action back to the king, Eleanor, you've now got this book, and King Gullop, the festivities of not closing. That looks like they're just turning back into a general chatter. It seems to be that they'll spend hours here gossiping and rumour mongering, and Gullop sort of wakes up to, oh yes, I promised you an escort, didn't I?
Yes, thank you. That would be marvelous.
So did we get a short rest during that time then?
Yeah, if you wanted to just relax here, you could do that and get a short rest.
I'll take a quick short rest here.
Okay.
What do we get from a short rest again? Just in terms, just HP and such.
You can
use your
pretty much,
features that recharge on a short rest.
Yeah. In D&D Beyond, there's a button for it, in fact, and that will automatically give you back whatever a short rest will. And I know we're a little bit out of, usually leveling up it happens after a long rest or during a long rest. There's no rule about that. It doesn't say it anywhere in the rules. So for any of you who were injured, if you can spend hit dice, or if you have any more to spend to bring you up to your old maximum, I'm okay with you just jumping up to your new maximum.
Oh,
if you
nice.
if you know what I mean.
How benevolent.
Otherwise, you're well disadvantaged beyond everyone else who might have only been 1 or 2 hit points ahead of you. But you haven't had a long rest though. But yeah, so it looks like they're going to be here for a couple more hours. So you can just generally sort of sit on the cushions and relax and listen and whatnot. Engage in some banter. Ungo, Clapperclaw, let's have a look. He tries to engage you in conversation. Once it
Sure, why not?
seems like you're no longer in hiding, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
He says, "I've been talking with all of the old rulers to try and find my head. My real head was
What kind of head is it?
my real head was stolen by rabbit folk, the brigands.
Oh, those guys. I hate those guys.
It was a magnificent head, a glorious stag skull. I have an enormous rack, many prongs."
Sounds like a beautiful guy.
He says, I must say I'm a bit self-conscious without it, with this hollow gourd. It doesn't sit right."
Well, it's nice and round.
He takes takes the head off with his claw, and he says, "I can't see now, but I can hear. Look, listen." And he shakes it, and you can hear coins shaking around. He says, "If you can help me, I will give you all my treasure." And he sort of tips the coins out onto his claw, and he goes to. They just fall through the crab claw. There's no palm. And 8 copper pieces fall to the ground at his feet.
Ah, 8 coppers. Hey, you know what? You could keep them. Even that, you hold on to that. You're gonna need that when.
Have you got any way that I might be able to attach this pumpkin more firmly as he starts to pick up the copper pieces and slot them back in through the hole in the top of the gourd?
Oh! Sorry.
I could use some arrows.
Okay.
Some arrows through there.
He says, "All right, I'll hold it steady," and he holds his gourd steady over the top of his neck.
Well, I mean, what's his neck? Is it a piece of wood?
Yeah. There is a piece of wood poking up through his chest.
Okay. Ungo's gonna cut off a little rope from the end of his rope with his dagger, tie an arrow onto that, and then put the gourd on the arrow.
Okay, all right. So you skewer the gourd to. Oh, are you tying or going straight through the gourd?
Like to the center, so it's centered on that.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. So you spike it through, and then he lets go, and he moves. And as he shakes his head around, he sort of does the whole bobblehead thing, and you can hear the coins rattling around, and he goes, "Woohoo! 2 claws, yeah!" All right, and he's quite pleased with that. And with that,
I'm just going to take a quick toilet break and be back in a minute.
No problem. Let me see here. Now, it's not gonna matter too much, but King Gullop claps his hands and asks 2 of the knights to bring around a pontoon. And I will just do a quick draw.
Yeah, as we're finishing up here, just a quick flavor thing. Mavis was playing, doing his best, all that, but his facial expression was like completely bored the entire way, just going through the motions, kind of thing.
Ah, yes. Yeah, okay. All right, I'm just moving everyone off here. And let's see. So there's the 1, 2, 3, 4 of you. Now I don't know.
What did I miss? Where are we leaving to?
Just getting ready the pontoon.
Okay. To go to be escorted to Lorna.
Yes.
Lovely.
Okay.
Okay, and 2 bullywugs. Whoop.
Is the king coming with us?
No,
Okay.
but I'll move you all as a group here, and you go. They push off with long poles, and you see these lily pads that you're going over. They're probably 10 feet across. And I'm moving you. You push your way through, and you see what looks like a clothesline.
Cute.
It rises up on an angle to the east and rises out of sight into the mist. But eventually,
Anna would have said goodbye to the king before they left.
Oh yes, yeah. You also he did
he
he did actually get up to send you off.
Yeah, I guess I see my chap Mavis would have 3 points to make. One, he would ask, "What's up with the book?" Point out the little crabby thing. What the fuck is that? And third, I got a note. And share the note with everyone.
My cat is typing in the game chat.
Hey guys, something came up. How much longer are we going to be going on this session?
I'm easy. Let's see. It's only quarter to 11. Usually we would say between 3.5 hours. 3 would be 11, so only in 15 minutes time. If you wanted to, if we wanted to call it here, we could. This is a break point before you actually ascend up into Bavlorna's cottage proper.
I could probably go for a few more minutes, but I don't have an hour.
Yeah, okay. All right, so maybe what we'll do is we'll go up until we get into Bavlorna's cottage, and then call it there, and that way the others can just... I don't know how they mechanically would have gotten in here, but perhaps going on the pontoon, you might have said, we've got 2 friends we need to pick up, or something along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, without doing whole big thing, can we just have a look at the book? What is it?
Yeah.
Yes. Let's have a look. I'm just going to bring Franny
Take
and
it out of my backpack and have a little scan through. Once we're out of sight of the king, wouldn't want to appear rude.
Yes.
I'd say that others, you could send them a message to your friends to say for them to go find this king and tell them they need to be escorted to go to Lady Eleanor and her entourage.
As you do leave, just before we go to the book, everyone, he says, as a sign of gratitude, you are and of the regard that the king has for you all. Over the brief time that you've known one another, he's bestowing titles. And I'll get each of you one at a time to roll a d8, because we won't have the same title go off. So let's go along the line in order as you are in. Let's see. So that would be Ungo. Can you roll a d8 for me? Tell me what you roll.
5.
5. Your title is Sir Ungo the Green Baron.
Green Baron, okay.
Which, apt, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And Mavis.
I don't know, 6.
6. You are the Knight of the Pickled Fly.
I can remember that.
I'm going to post these into the chat. This is an honorific that you could add to the end of your title when introduced anywhere to any court across the land. Who's next? I think that is Slapney.
Okay, here we go. An 8.
An 8. Oh, you are the Pond Flower Knight.
The Pond Flower Knight.
Sounds like something from Elden Ring.
And lastly, Eleanor.
Also an 8.
Oh,
Would you like me to roll again?
Yes, roll again. 3. You are the Duchess of the 3 Rocks.
Marvelous.
An ominous.
I think we're the 3 rocks, guys.
I am the Duchess of the 3 Rocks, and these are my rocks.
Okay, now I go on to your examination of this book. Let's see.
Oh, by the way, guys, this is Clapperclaw.
Sorry?
Clapperclaw.
This is Clapperclaw.
Clapperclaw the cat.
Ah,
I have one
Proving
also.
grounds, holding
Claire.
cells. Here we go. Big. Okay, its title is called The Big Book of Bad Blood.
Ooh.
And
Goodness.
Stop.
Big Book of Bad Blood.
is the bad blood is like as the idiom or is it literal? Like from the content?
yeah,
Context.
it's not literal. It looks like it's a hit list of Babyloners.
Oh. A book. Like a full book full of names.
Yes, people who've slighted her in some way or another.
Goodness me. Oh, he was probably looking through it to find his own name just to make sure he was all right.
What was the name? What was the
way
name
I
of
see
the?
it.
Is it in
I
alphabetical
think
order?
We'll put
No.
the brigand captain's name in there.
No.
We should
Well,
add
is there
some.
an index? Some sort of index, or is it just randomly scribbled?
Throw Agden in at the end. Agden.
Yeah.
Be a little bit more open-minded, friends. I think that's a beautiful book with a list of all our potential friends.
Yeah.
That's a good way of looking at it.
I would like to have a little flip through and just see if there's
Anyone have
any
a
names I
camera?
recognise in there. See if I see any names that I would recognise.
Okay. You recognise Zybelna. It's underlined.
Who's that?
The queen, the
It's
former.
Zybelna.
Oh, Sabina. Oh, Sabina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you also, somewhere near that, you also, let's see, I'm going to put these in the chat. This might be useful. So Zybelna is one. Another one is Endelyn Moongrave.
It looked like she's been crossing them off in order.
No, more like because it's got in what way they slighted her. Zybelna is only slighted her by just being existing, yeah. Whereas Endelyn appears numerous times.
Oh, what has she done? This is a juicy gossip book.
Another one that appears multiple times is Scabatha Nightshade. I'll put that in there. And you get the idea that at least Endelyn and Scabatha are her hated sisters.
A quick question: is there a Illig, the Baron of Maxstump, amongst the names?
No. But you do see that there's quite a few kings of this and kings of that, and they're all Bullywug kings.
Okay.
She really doesn't
Another
like frogs.
Another name that you might notice as being a famous witch is Igwilv.
Oh. What has she done?
I don't know.
I'll expand on that.
Taking notes.
Probably next week.
Eleanor's got the
if you
book
could,
on
like,
her
give
lap
us
and then
in
her
the-
notebook and taking notes.
I'll send them to you throughout the week, and then you can, and we'll go through some in detail. But there's just a few names that I'm dropping for now. Another one is Baba Yaga.
I've had enough of Baba Yaga recently.
And all of these names that you're hearing, you might have heard in children's tales as a child.
The woman with the walking house, the witch.
And Endelyn Moongrave, apparently the horse from the carousel at the carnival, told Ungo that Endelyn Moongrave is the one that stole his shadow.
Maybe he'll get it back if she dies. Maybe we can become assassins for her.
Now, those are a few names. I might have a few more for you that sort of jump out, but other than that, there's other names that you probably wouldn't recognise. But those are a few that jump out, partly because they appear early on, and also partly because they appear multiple times. So there you are. I think that's everyone. There's 7 of you now, if we count Clapperclaw, and you find yourself on the old railings, but it looks as if there's a walkway that seems to spiral and starts to go higher and higher. So you can see all these posts that each thing is on, and the posts get longer and longer. And looking off to your right, I think it is, to your right, there's one of those wells, but rather than stopping only 5 feet or so above the level of the surface, it continues up higher and higher and higher into the mist above.
Interesting.
Are you keeping on spiralling up?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're
now quite high, maybe 30 feet or so off the ground. So much so that you can see that this well also continues 30 feet up and continues beyond. And you can see it also goes straight into what looks like the floor of some sort of cottage.
Right, well, I guess we're here then.
Is there a gap? Do we got to jump? Like, what's the situation?
No. Your walkway also continues up through the middle of it as well, like a little, a staircase ascending in.
Okay.
Keep going.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll climb up.
All right. I'm going to switch us to another map.
Should probably get going.
No worries. All we're gonna do from here is we'll close at this point in any case. It's just gone 11.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. See you guys.
All right.
Yep. See you next time.
Bye.
See you later.
See you, David.
So a new map loaded, but it's all black.
Yeah, I've just got to paste your figures, your tokens, so you'll get the visibility. Oh. Here we are. Okay, so you probably just see mist at this point, and I'm just going to boost you up to be the proper size. Oh, Clapperclaw. Ferroni. It's going to be quite a party once everyone's here. And you find yourself in the ground floor. It's probably a multi-story cottage. You've come up through a trapdoor in the floor. Yeah, that's it. And
Interesting.
all right. Yeah, and there's a well, probably only about 5 feet above the water level, in another sort of scummy pond. It's like a Roman bath. Let's see.
Do we have an escort from the king?
No, they dropped you off and then pushed their pontoon back towards the court. You can see hither. There we go. The ceiling's only about 10 feet high. The floor is very creaky, solid, but there's gaps and things. The walls and windows are made of a soft sort of mossy wood, very damp. What windows you see, and there's a couple that you can see through. There's a green line showing you where there's a window. You can't actually see through them. They're sort of opaque from grime, without mucking around with them or whatnot. And there's you find yourself in a room with a recessed pool lined with mouldy clay tiles. It takes up most of the square room. Stagnant water fills the depression, only to a depth of about 1 foot. You can see the bottom. Rising from the pool centre is a head of a stone well, giving off a very unpleasant odour. There's in a corner of the pool, there's a freestanding mirror. You can see this over in the corner here. Just standing in the water. It's tall and grubby. It's oval. Floating in the water is an enormous lily pad, maybe 10 feet across. Creaky floorboards arranged in 10-foot wide raised walkway around the pool. And this walkway is crowded with shelves, tables, stools, all shapes and sizes. Almost every available surface is littered. Looks like you've walked into one of those hoarders' houses. Every available surface has got dirty plates, scraps of food, old junk. In one corner of the room, up in the north east, there's dummies, mannequins, like for dressmaking. And they're sort of pushed together in a corner. And there's a wooden staircase, a spiral staircase in the north west, which ascends up through the roof above you and beyond. And arrayed around you are at least 5 doors in total, which you can see there, the white ones. I think you should all be able to see in here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No issue.
And I guess that's where we will leave you, in sort of Bavlorna's basement.
Okay.
Very good.
And we can pick up next week.
Yep.
Hopefully with a full...
Next week.
Next fortnight, yeah. Well, hopefully we can get a full complement.
I am working, but again, shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Okay.
Didn't get called today, so.
All right.
Yeah. I didn't really have a chance to do it, but I'm gonna post in the chat. And I'm gonna post the limerick I had prepared for the funeral.
Very good.
Who?
The funeral.
Who died?
So you guys are replacing two people who dropped out, and one of the characters kinda supposedly died, but not really now. Yeah, so for the I translated some old 14th, 15th century limerick from Poland. I thought it was befitting.
Oh, that's nice.
Do you want to read it out for us?
Nice.
And we can go out with.
Sure.
Yeah, good.
Nothing but limericks, all our thoughts. Nothing but limericks, all our deeds. We haven't a single sure thing in the world. To that which we find dear, in vain we try to hold. Honor, looks, power, money, fame, all like the moon will eventually wane. In spite of our plans and to our dismay, we all will be sacked like puppets at the end of the play.
Awesome. Round of applause. And
Very morbid.
Yes.
grim tidings. Okay. Well, thanks everyone, and
Thank you.
hopefully
Thank
we
you.
can all
That was fun.
reconvene and press on. Level 3, and up into the domain of this ruler of this plane.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys.